Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Sassy Reads, and today I'm talking about some of the books that I read in 2017. So first up, I have to talk about a couple of the Edgar Allan Poe short stories that I read in the month of October for my American Lit class. I read The Telltale Heart, The Fall of the Usher, The Cask of Amontillado, and The Raven. And The Cask of Amontillado and The Raven are rereads for me. I'd never read The Telltale Heart or The Fall of the Usher before, so it was really interesting to read new Poe fiction. I love being introduced to new Poe, and I am a fan of his work. I gave The Cask of Amontillado and The Raven 5 stars, The Telltale Heart 4.75 stars, and The Fall of the Usher 4.5 stars. And The Cask of Amontillado is my personal favorite Edgar Allan Poe story. Next up, I read a short story that was recommended to me by two of my friends, and we actually got on the topic of this at a church service, which is very odd. It's called Lamb to the Slaughter by Roald Dahl, and it's about a woman who kills her husband with a very interesting weapon. And I give this one 5 stars. It's like 5 pages. You can find a free PDF online. That's what I did. I really loved it. It was weird and kind of funny in a disturbing, macabre way. Highly recommend it. I'm actually looking forward to reading more of Roald Dahl's adult fiction because I really like his writing style, and I like the dark grittiness that he contributes to the horror genre and suspense genre. Next up, I read The Haunter of the Dark by H.P. Lovecraft. In my previous couple videos, I don't know how far back it was, I mentioned this story, and I confused it with another one. It was called The Whisper, The Darkness, or something like that. Yeah, this is the one that is dedicated to Robert Bloch, who wrote Psycho. And this one, I gave 4.25 stars. The Haunter of the Dark is actually pretty dang good. It has a pretty decent ending, which is why it got a higher rating from me. His endings are hit or miss, but I actually like that ending, so I recommend that one. Next up, I have a DNF book. I DNF'd My Fair Princess by Vanessa Kelly. I have a review of why I DNF'd it, so I will link that down below. I DNF'd this at around like 51%, I think. I don't have it written down on my phone, but it was somewhere in the 50th percent area. I DNF'd it because it was boring. In all honesty, it's a historical romance about a woman who is banished from Italy, I think Sicily, if I remember correctly, because she murders bandits who have murdered her stepfather, and you know, that retaliation, she has to go into hiding in the London town, and this man, who's kind of a prick if you ask me, he comes and he helps her to become a refined lady of society, and it sounded cute, and it has a really pretty dress on the cover. But it is so boring, and I did not like the characters. I couldn't get invested in it, and I was just bored. Next up, I have Daughters Unto Devils by Amy Lukovics. Excuse me, hiccuping. I gave this one 4.25 stars. I also have a full-length review for it, so I'll link that down below. Daughters Unto Devils is a really fascinating YA horror story. It follows a girl who is convinced that she was possessed by the devil last winter, and it's set in like the 1800s, so it's like really atmospheric, and I love those kind of horror stories for some reason. I read 2 of them in the month of October. I was in a 1800s horror kick, and she is in a sexual relationship with this boy, and she ends up getting pregnant, and she thinks that they're gonna run away and raise a baby together, and he's like, no girl, back up, no, I think not. And so she has to deal with being pregnant while her family is picking up and moving to another area, and it's a very long walk, and she's pregnant, so like that's pretty heavy on her body, mentally, physically. And anyway, long story short, they get into this new house that they find because they're told that there's cabins that they can pick and choose from, and there's no inhabitants, so it's kind of like a free pickings real estate property area. So they go into this area, and they pick out this house, and the father's like, this is going to be great, this is great for us, and they go inside, and the floorboards are torn up, there's dried blood all over the walls, there's some weird animal carcass in the middle. think, or maybe that was just like, they were like, oh, it's an ox or something like that. Yeah, it was brutal. And, you know, as all horror stories go, there's demons, fire ants, pigs eating humans, and all that good stuff. I mean, you wouldn't expect it in a YA horror novel, but I was totally down for it, and I read it in like 2 days on my iPhone. I was like, look at this. I was like, yes, thank you, NetGalley. It's an older NetGalley read, but I was glad that I finally got to it because I loved it. So yeah, check that one out if you love horror. Then, like I said, I was in a bit of a horror kick for the 1800s, so I picked up Dawners of the Dead by Karina Hale. I give this one 4.5 stars. It follows a half Native American girl who is kind of requested / forcibly picked up by a group of ragtag men who are looking for the Donner Party, or so they say. And she goes with her best friend and a lady from the little surrounding houses who offers to be like a chaperone for her, because, you know, you don't want to be just the only girl going with like 6 guys. It's kind of scary. But so they go out and they're looking for the Donner Party, but what they find are these very creepy zombie-like creatures, and it's got connections to the Wendigo, and if you know anything about Wendigo, you know what I'm talking about. It's really fascinating. Zombies, cannibals, whatnot. It's a fun time. The only problem that I had with it was why I didn't get a full 5 stars is the love interest, and even then, like, I grew to love him. So yeah, I have a full-length review for that one as well, so you can go check that one out as well and see my thoughts on it. It was a fun time, and if you're looking for a horror romance, I recommend it. I was eating it up. The next book I read was an ARC, and it's called The Crime Book, and it was published by DK Publishing. It's like this grand kind of omnibus collection of crime, and it covers everything from murder to serial killers to arsonists to robbers and bandits to white-collar crime. So there's like a wide variety of things. I have a full-length review for it down below, and so you can go check that out. I actually gave it I think I gave it 2 stars. This is inaccurate because I wrote this before I wrote a review. I think I gave it a solid 2 stars if I remember correctly. I was very disappointed by it. It was not what I wanted, and I think like mainly it was because it's told in newspaper articles, so after a while it gets kind of monotonous and boring, and a lot of the cases they covered, I was missing pages in my copy, so it made it hard to really get immersed into it. But I feel like I've talked about a whole lot of stories, and I'm gonna go drink some water before I film another video because my cold sore throat thing is starting to act up. So those are some of the books that I read in 2017. Let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of these books. Out of all of these books, I think I would recommend probably Dawners of the Dead on Daughters unto Devils the most, besides Edgar Allan Poe. Of course, he's like the one that I would recommend to everyone, but I assume most people have read Edgar Allan Poe, but if you haven't, take this as your opportunity to go check him out. So yeah, and I hope to see you down below in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye, and happy reading.